Well, this should be interesting. I haven't done a disaster save since 2020, back when I had like less than 5,000 subs. And now I have more than 5,000 subs. So maybe I'm good at this game now. Hey everyone, sorry it's been so long since the last upload, but if you guys are good viewers this year, maybe Santa Quarbit will bring you some more content. Particularly 50,000 subs for the Roman Empire speedrun. And I'm back to streaming on Twitch 4 times a week semi-regularly. Right now we're doing a EU4 World Conquest, so if you want to see that, be sure to go ahead, lose a few brain cells, and follow the streams. Alright, now let's take a look. Our friend here has been going for the Khan achievement, which it looks like they were successful in completing, so congratulations. But apparently there is no economy to speak of, and they're at war with the Ottomans. And looking at these military technologies, it doesn't look like it's in our advantage. And this would be the reason why. Well, someone decided that the institutions weren't very important this game, which is probably what caused the scenario you see right here. The economy doesn't look too bad until you take a look at the spoils of war is carrying a decent portion of this economy. So unfortunately, that's going to be gone next month. Governing capacity could be worse. I'm actually not that upset about this. After all, the things it affects aren't really that important to us. It looks to me like we started off as the Golden Horde and conquered a bit of Russia and then pushed into the east here, where they scrambled for the last few provinces needed to form the Mongol Empire. Now, unfortunately, what that means is we're going to get a lot of I'd say relatively useless provinces, ones that aren't going to generate you a whole lot of tax or money or anything really. Another odd thing is that the capital was moved to Europe, which is the right idea. That's what you want to do, right? You want to move your capital into Eastern Europe. But you didn't exactly do the thing you're supposed to do when you move your capital to Europe, which is turn everything into a trade company. These states in Persia may have been a good idea to maybe collect a little bit more manpower, but you also have quantity ideas. Well, exposition over with, let's start with fixing all of these issues. First of all, I'm going to peace out with the Ottoman Empire. There's absolutely no shot of winning this. They have 205,000 men, 122,000 reserves, and they are 2 military techs above you, while you also have, almost half their actual soldiers. Not only that, you can't even afford to have as many soldiers as they do. Luckily, the Ottomans aren't really looking for too much. I think we can try and negotiate something that's relatively worthless to lose. We'll give these 5 provinces to the Ottomans, and we'll release a few tags, which are either easy to reconquest here, or don't really matter to begin with, like these ones. Now, I understand your decision in taking quantity first. Of course, you need manpower early on. Personally, I would have gone with horde government ideas for the various bonuses that they give you, but I'm going to argue right now, you no longer need quantity. The Mongol Empire is a run where you're almost always going to end up doing a world conquest in the end, because you can't exactly afford to stop conquering. So we may end up saving up a few points and trying to go after administrative, particularly for the governing capacity modifier, but also the interest per annum, since you don't get the good loans as a horde. You do not get your burger loans because you do not have the merchant guilds, and also that core creation cost. A lot of people think, well, you don't need that, obviously, because you are a horde, and a horde already gets raising as well as certain ideas like the Golden Horde get core creation cost minus 25%. It's not necessarily about the cost as much as it's also about getting yourself faster cores. So if you have reduced core cost, you also have reduced coring time, therefore you can conquer faster, and it takes less time to conquer, and you can take more overextension more consistently. Offensive would also be a great idea group. It gives you that extra force limit that you're looking for, but it also gives you siege ability, which is really important. If you win wars faster, you can take land faster, and the cycle continues, as well as discipline to make your armies more invincible. What we need to focus on right now, though, is your tech situation. It is abysmal. It also looks to me like you accidentally locked your armies in here, which was a pretty bad mistake. So we're going to have to find a way to get these guys out of here. And let's start by taking yet another loan. Maybe another one too. We'll use that to embrace colonialism. And we'll take up the next Diplotech. Now, you have a lot of states, which is going to make embracing things very expensive. In fact, what I should have done, before I went ahead and embraced that, was I should have unstated a lot of the stuff you have in Persia. You do not need, nor particularly want these states. Now, what we're going to do instead is add a couple of provinces to trade companies. The rest of the armies are a bit of a mess, so we're going to try and clean those up. And I'm going to just make a few more trade companies in China. You also have a few too many forts I would like to destroy, so let's get rid of this one. And let's turn the rest of them off. Now, we may not immediately see any sort of improvement in the economy. Well, it's not bad. But the main point, if you look up here, is that now you have 4 extra merchants. And if you look around, you can see your money is actually being stolen, like a lot. So what you need to do is send one down here. You can see you're getting nothing, even though you control 33% of this trade node. That is ridiculous. You don't want to get your money stolen all the time, so that's why you want to make trade companies and use the merchant you get from those trade companies, and have them send that money along the chain. Again, you own 35% of this node, and you're getting nothing out of it. 0.48. Absolutely ridiculous. We can also see that you're making more money, but your governing capacity is decreased. That's because trade companies don't take as much, obviously, so even if I turn this entire region into a trade company, which I have, you are still going to be making a lot more money. And just like that, as you can see, now that you're transferring in Basra and in Lahore, you're actually making an incredible amount of money off of trade. All of this trade was easily available to you, you just gotta make sure you're actually collecting it. Wait a second. You're also doing culture conversions. Huh. Well, that's a little bit odd, I have to say. It's not particularly useful, so I'm gonna go ahead and steal the Diplo out of these if you don't mind. I'm also gonna go ahead, seize a little bit of land from the tribes here, and get a bit of money. Definitely have some printing press to be spawning, and something tells me you were deciding to do that already. Alright, let's finish this the rest of the way and see how much it costs. Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Okay, I'm gonna switch up your states a little bit more. I'm also going to deal with your Novgorodian rebels right now so that I can turn the armies down. Funny enough, it looks like we've also built a treasury, so let's reduce that inflation. Instead of taking the path of peace here, I think I'm going to go ahead and invade Sweden. I plan to move the trade capital over here so you can actually make use of all of this land you have, but first I need a little bit more trade power. Now, for the time being, I've gone ahead and turned pretty much everything east of Eastern Europe into a trade company. After some time though, that will eventually be too much on your governing capacity, so I'd recommend removing some of the worst provinces from your trade companies. For instance, something like wool that doesn't really give you that much money or really that much trade value. Cattle, wool, fish, anything with a relatively low price. Because we aim to make a lot of money, we're going to have to try and steal a little bit more from others as well. The best place to do that is in particular this one node, because they have massive development provinces with really good trade goods. So taking these provinces over here is going to be a massive gain to the economy. Alright, I took some of the wool and fish and grain provinces out of the trade companies, and I went ahead and stated these areas over here because they have some trade power to give us. Hopefully once we take this province and we stack these provinces up with some trade modifiers, we'll be able to move the trade capital here, and with all of our merchants, hopefully we can steer all of the trade from this area as well. Okay, we've taken the capital of Wu, now we just need to go and slap a few troops here and there, and we should be able to take what we want. Now, Sweden may be stronger than us by 1 tech, but we have the numbers advantage, so hopefully we should be able to win this battle fairly easily. Well, it was certainly tougher than I thought. Sweden is definitely a very strong country, but as I suspected, we came out okay. Another thing to keep an eye on here is that assaulting forts can actually be worth it more than just a few times, surprisingly. Alright, now we can take all the provinces we want, plus lots of money. I'll use that to pay off some loans, and once the war is over with, we can also use that to upgrade some emporiums. A few battles later, and we can also take what we want from Sweden. Now we're once again at peace, surprised it took this long, and I can decrease the autonomy in these newly fully stated provinces. Now let's do a bit of an economic experiment. How much money would I make if I moved my trade capital? Well, as it turns out, someone's collecting a bit of my income here, so it's a little bit less than you would expect, but overall, roughly the same. We'll just have to fix this problem later. Oh, there goes our king. Now we have a 643 as our great sultan. Not bad at all. And we're finally getting close to being able to embrace the printing press. We just need to wait a few months for it to spawn in Novgorod. The truce with the Ottomans ends in a couple of years, so let's try and modernize before then. I might also be wrong about this, but I think it might be a good idea to, add a couple of company depots to Persia. So let's see what that does for us. Well, not much of an increase, but okay. Rebel after rebel. It probably would have been a good idea to invest in humanist, but, well, I'll leave that option up to you. Also, I need just a tiny little bit more money before I can embrace this institution. So I'll take just a little bit. Okay, the Ottomans are done with their war with Spain, and that leaves us in their crosshairs. Not the best place to be in, of course. Next month we should be able to embrace the institution. There we go. And finally, we can take some reasonable level of technology. Alright, we went from being 2 techs behind to being ahead of time by 1 year. Not the best scenario, but you know what, I'll take it. With Admin Tech 14, we unlocked a new idea group, but, well, I'll let you pick that one. Personally, I would go with Admin, Humanist, or Trade, but it's up to you. Well, there goes the capital, so let's take the rest. Yeah. Okay. Sure, man. Sure. I'm not sure we'll even be dealing with the Ottomans this time around. They aren't a very good investment of money or time. If there's one thing they have to fix in this game, it's this. Why are you over here? Right, anyway. We just need to reinvade Qin in a few years, and we'll be able to complete this mission. Next, we can repay another loan. And it's about time we claim some riches from India. They look intimidating with over 100,000 men, but their militech is pretty pitiful. Alright, in a strange twist of fate, we actually now have higher military tech than the Ottomans. They might turn their head towards us at some point, but the point isn't to be stronger than the Ottomans right now. The point is to be the most difficult target they could possibly invade. Hopefully then the AI will decide to invade other countries instead of us. Oh, a coalition. Well that's unexpected. You know what? Yeah, let's call in Delhi. Now where are you going? What? You know what, whatever. Well, we're getting close with Bahmanis. Just a few more battles and a few more sieges. We should be good to go. Alright, this peace deal looks good to me. We can use that money to repay our final loan. Now it's time for us to reclaim what we once lost. Well, this seems aggressive enough for my tastes. Let's take it. Well, I wasn't paying attention. Looks like we accidentally capped on Diplo power. I guess in a case like this we could take trade idea just to spend that Diplo. We could also spend it on mercantilism. Yeah, sure, why not? And of course we're going to turn this into a trade company. Is there something up in Siberia I don't know about? Everyone seems to want to go there. So, judging by the Catholic England we have here, I'm gonna assume that this person doesn't exactly have all the DLC, which is fine. But hopefully this gives you a good case-in-point argument for why you should probably get the DLCs which give you the trade companies. I think we can sufficiently say we have saved this economy. From 7 loans and making like 80 ducats a month to 0 loans and making 160 ducats a month, I'd say that's a pretty good increase. And now that Nizhny Novgorod has been fully sieged, I'd recommend maybe waiting for these cores to finish off before you reintegrate them. But with that, I'd consider this save to be saved. To begin with, it actually really wasn't that bad of a save. It just needed a little bit of reformatting with the states, and a little bit of love and care here and there. A couple conquests never hurt as well. And now your income is massive. For future steps, I'd recommend reinvesting a lot of this income into the trade companies, particularly the Brokers Exchange, since that produces an extra 0.3 local goods produced in the same area. It's pretty massive. If you have the money though, I definitely recommend putting both the Brokers Exchange and the Company Depot in pretty much every trade company region. And hopefully, if you keep on conquering through China, that should give you more than enough money to fuel your conquests further westward, and maybe you'll be strong enough to take on the Ottomans in a couple of years. Well, maybe. I'd recommend collecting all of the trade from this region, and then you'll be more than powerful enough to take on the Ottomans. If you want your save to be saved, then make sure to shoot me an email at quarbitgaming@gmail.com. In the description are the requirements for your save. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, that'd be super appreciated. And let me know if you want to see more disaster save videos. This is Quarbit signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. Big thanks to all the patrons this month, especially Commander Natsuki, Ben Greenhagen, Quiet Guy, Torvald, Bouncer Steve, Sean, Robert Kaleno, Chewy Shoot, and The Watcher. Patrons get early access to videos, so if you want early access, all you have to do is click the link down below and sign up. If you're looking for more videos to watch, I recommend these ones up on screen.